Love to. Oh, we are live.
Yeah.
Want to see Jijo doing the analysis? There you go. I'm here.
Jijo, question 23, you need to explain.
I explained saying that I have given up.
You've given up.
So it question 23 was, yeah, it was painful. Eventually, I think it turned out to be, a bad question. Because it had sort of multiple slots where you can put the. I think so there's a sentence placement question. There is logic for
Okay.
putting in all the 4 places. So while initially when you design question, you think about one. Then, okay, who else is there? Shekhar, Vikas, Aditya, Prerik, Sharma, Said,
Last set has contradictory information. Which was that set? Okay. मुझे तो contradictory नहीं दिखा, but nevertheless, let's see. Okay.
Tough ones. So basically, if Kushal, if it's quant is tough for, it's going to be tough for everyone. No, so I think the toughness of a paper has got nothing to do with your eventual sorry. Okay. VARCS. Hi, Hirtik. So it's the question of adapting to whatever the paper was. I think is but maybe arithmetic did not help. Probably that's what happened. So first time scored very low in VRC and something else. DLR 18 cons. Okay, no problem. Then you treat as learning point. At the end of the day, even though some of you might be feeling that this is mock number 13, we are very close to the CAD. That still doesn't mean that we can still learn. And I'm sure that whatever is so at the end of the day, if you as a person is able to keep your cool in whatever the challenge the test is throwing, because at the end of the day, please note that it's a relative test and life will be good. RC very interesting. Let's start. Okay, let's start. Shivku. Shivku is still managing.
1 second. I always have this problem.
Jijo sir, please respond to VRC 1000 group. Chalo, theek hai. Okay, that's all. I'm not responded for like some 3-4 days only. So,
Jijo, you're able to see the screen? Slide?
अब आ रहा है शिवको.
Yeah. So this number of test taker, I believe, was based on, I think, afternoon data, I think. So I'm sure that one more slot would have added some more. Okay.
Syed Sameer Akhtar. Jijo, Syed, are you from last year? The name is familiar. The face also looks familiar. Yes.
We're still waiting for Shivku to do. I don't know what Shivku's up to.
Okay. Syed, I thought you joined Symbiosis last year.
Chalo, ठीक I think.
Chalo, let's get started in any case. Shivku jab tak aata hai. So this seems to be fine. One odd question away from CAT 21. Significant gap from CAT 22.
Yeah. So I think we can start with the first slide.
Okay. Oops. Right. Okay, that's fine, Syed. Even last year I felt you deserved to go into a better institute, so that's fine.
Jay, are you able to see the slide?
I can able, but this I'm somewhere in the middle slide up कर रहे हो the thing. You have to go to the first slide.
People, you'll have to go back. First slide पे जाना होगा.
Okay. ये वाला?
नहीं इसके पहले.
इसके पहले भी होगा ना?
इसके पहले भी है.
हाँ, और पहले.
ये
Yes.
हो गया.
यहाँ से शुरू होता है.
अच्छा ठीक है. मैं सोचा हम शुरू कर हो गया अपना.
नहीं you are in control of the slide, so how can you start? Okay, let's start with the session. Now everything is fine, so we'll start off with sort of the broad thing on the GP. There is always this question. So we have got 5,000 as a data, and then there is 3 lakh people eventually take the test, or probably
Right.
no. So is 5,000 a representation of 3 lakh? How can 5,000 be a representation of 3 lakh people taking the test? So that is sort of question.
Jijo, we have answered this question a couple of times at least, and I think I'll give the same answer. Indian elections, Lok Sabha elections, the number of people who, let's say, who vote is BJP got something like 23 crore votes, and that was roughly 40%. So 23 into 2.5, that makes it 46 and another 12, almost 60 crore voters. And you get the results or the estimates or the opinion poll, exit poll, they are based on something like 35,000 voters. Okay, so frankly, to me, this whoever's asking this question obviously does not have an understanding of statistics.
So one
and
of the
my
things that was,
suggestion to that individual would be, don't do question of statistics in any case in the paper.
so one of the things that I've noticed, because whenever I record the solution, I actually look at the data that is available with me thus far. Okay.
Right.
Sometimes it is, let's say, 2 slots. So day one cut 2 slots. Sometimes 3 slots. Sometimes 2
Right.
slots. I basically think one thing is not changing much, which is the percentage accuracy and percentage attempt. So that
Yes,
by and large
absolutely
remains the same. The minor changes
right.
that happens is with respect to the marks. And so, for example, if one question is 3 marks, so even if the marks change that much, so it's reasonably fair to look at some sort of so it cannot be absolutely sort of this is going to be the case, but it gives you a sense. It can be plus or minus the score, so but it gives a sense completely.
Yeah.
So Shivku, next
It has
the
been
person.
a thing
Percentage
across years we
rarely
have seen
change.
this. So frankly, not worried about this aspect. I'll just ignore that question. Let's get down with the analysis.
So it seems to be that okay, but kind of very sort of some slot of CAT 2022. So CAT 2020 itself had 3 slots. So each year we have got multiple papers. So so this is very similar to that. And anyone who are probably able to cross 90 marks overall, that's about net 30 questions, would have done a decent job in this particular paper, more than decent actually. And if you want to kind of be in sort of some college, then we are looking at maybe about 72 marks. That's what, about 24 odd question. That is 8 types. So in that sense, it's kind of very, very similar. So if there is not amount of huge deviation that at least I can see from the data in front of me. So that's where I see. Yeah. One of the things that is also going to happen, I think it's also important to address that. So there are going to be 3 slots. So there are 3 tests eventually. And I have not, I cannot say that these 3 tests has got equal amount of distribution of accuracy. For example, when we did the race to 99 session, at least for each of these, so DLR, if you remember, the 3 slots had very different sort of number of greens and number of reds and number of yellow kind of questions. So the one thing that you have to eventually figure out is, this is the paper. In this paper, this is how people have done. Could have done better. So if this is the actual CAT, then if you're able to cross in net about 30 questions, I think that you've done a fair job. Now the question that you would ask yourself is whether or not it was possible for you to do it, or what are the kind of issues that you face, or did you make some bad decision during the paper. So that's my take on this. Okay, so if I look at sort of the VRC, I think 2 things have happened. This is sort of very interesting. But if I look at the distribution in terms of the accuracy percentage of various questions, it is by and large very similar to that. But the score distribution happened like this. So one is there were 2 odd sentence questions and 2 paragraph jumble questions. So there were 4 questions with no negative marking. So that kind of would have at least not. Usually you have three questions with no negative marking. You had four, so that kind of had an impact. And I also believe that some of the passage which had got the maximum amount of problem might be the passage that most of you left. Uh, so inherently, because of the way in which the question was designed, that's okay. So if I look at if I want to talk about the four passages, the first passage I believe was on scientific progress and the scientific progress and sort of a historical perspective in terms of what happened after World War One. And so I think that it was during the period of time between that early 20th century. So that was the passage. The passage was not very difficult to read. We had sort of four questions. I still don't know why people made mistake in the second question, but this was sort of a passage where almost all of you attempted the passage. I think that my data says that about 70% sort of attempted the passage. What is interesting though is the third question, very few people attempted, though the question was easy. So if I look at the first question, that's about 70% attempt. But when I look at the third question, that came down to about 55% attempt. And the third question was talking about which of the following, if true, cast the most doubt. So the strength and weaken question. So I basically have a feeling that some of you have inherently decided that any strength and weaken question is going to be automatically difficult, which in the case is not so difficult. In fact, it was actually sort of manageable. It was very straightforward. So please don't have any sort of prior, no, prior, what do you call? What do you say? Presupposition about anything. So I think we have learned so far in cricket. So play in the merit of each ball. So the sort of the first passage more manageable. I think the second passage is the passage which kind of differentiated, I believe, those of you who got a high score and those of you got a sort of less score. So because this was a passage which I believe everybody attempted, most of them attempted. This was a passage which sounded very nice. This passage is talking about essentially about our politeness, or the word please. Why do once upon a time Greek never used it, then they start using it, and what changed, and why do we use please? And I think the mistake that many would have actually made in the particular passage is not understand the crux of the story. So if you just understood that when the society is democratic, egalitarian, highly equal society, people generally don't use the expression please. When it's hierarchical, when there is a lot of inequality, then the please. So if that crux people would have understood, they would have got all the three questions. It is not so much that the three question had very less accuracy. It is in fact 50% and more. So there are a lot many students who kind of messed up on this particular passage. This I believe would be an issue. If you had an issue with passage number two, my sense is that it would have happened because you read the passage fast or did not understand the crux of sort of the passage. See, I come back to the third, then we go to the third passage. It is a passage where I believe about half the people did not even touch it. And the reason why I can safely say they don't even touch it is because when they started reading the first paragraph, first sentences talks about when we teach philosophy. Yeah, I'm sure many would have decided to nahi karna hai. But in fact, if you look at the last two questions, the percentage accuracy is more than even 70%. So it was like sitters were there. So those of you where so the students who are able to cross the three passages, and I can actually see what happened. The first three passages seems to be everybody's favorite, and the last passage is something that people did not, very few people touch. And even though in those passages there were opportunities of scoring, and that kind of pushed the score a little bit. I don't know what would have happened if the fourth passage was kept in the first. Whether this, and in the actual cat, everybody's passages are jumbled and given to you. It's like there's sort of no order, and even the options are jumbled and given. So I don't know if those of you by sheer luck kind of escaped the last passage. Got two problems because the last passage, the passage was it's not that not difficult. It was on economic theory, and I believe the last two questions had an issue where the last question actually talks about sort of a critical reasoning. It was forcing you to do critical reasoning, and even the previous passage also required a little bit of depth. I think those of you spent some time in question number 15 and 16 and then got a negative, I think would have done a bad job. But whoever got those two questions correct, their sort of critical reasoning is in place. So when I look at reading comprehension, I can actually see let's say, so how many questions I can actually see here? I can actually see close to about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Almost 11 questions were there, which is at least above 50% accuracy. So that 11 question means that if there is someone who kind of looked at all the 4 passages, would have had access to those many questions and would have kind of looked at kind of looked at got about 10 questions net correct. So the reason why I believe, if I just look at 1 second, uh, the distribution of score ones. Okay, so the reason why essentially that happened because of the so people are able to get to about 49, 51, largely because of those students who were able to take maximum out of all the passages, and then those of you in the 85th percent and 90th percentile, those of you marked about 2 passages, and I believe what happened there was you kind of helped. When it comes to VA, so if I have to look at the questions, I can tell you what each questions were. Question number 17. So let me just tell you. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Question number 17 was odd sentence question. Question number 18 was paragraph summary. Question number 19 was paragraph summary. Question number 20 was odd sentence. 21 and 22 was paragraph jumble. And 23 and 24 was sentence placement or paragraph completion. Okay, so so obviously this is very unlikely that cat is going to give something like this. I'm just using the word unlikely. Cat used to have this odd sentence question, and the last year they did not have odd sentence question. They introduced this sentence completion of or sentence placement of paragraph completion question. So I don't know, very likely they're not going to revert to odd sentence question. But the question was, if let's say some slight change happens, would you be able to handle these changes? And it seems to be that if you look at the odd sentence question, it's about 20 percentage. I think about 17% accuracy for the question number 17, and 20% accuracy question number this 13. I think it's likely that nobody kind of used their mind. Probably very few people actually spent time. I think most of it just did some inky pinky ponky and got the answer. Please understand that any question that you have is crackable. So that should be the attitude that you should have. Very incidentally, if I look at odd sentence question number 20, the percentage attempt is 60%. So when all you have to do is mark between numbers 1 to 5 with a 20% chance, why would I just don't even mark? But I don't know whether anyone did paragraph jumble with those questions. I have no idea. Without reading 5 sentences, paragraph jumble, so I don't know anyone did it. That I sort of don't know. And then, so paragraph summary is also, I think question number 23 has a problem. So, like I told you, I think every position has a value. I think it's there. Okay. Huh? Overall, I think from the VA, it was possible to crack the VA without taking too much of negatives. So, but the crux of the story is not to have any sort of preconceived ideas about questions or stuff and going one by one, because you had opportunity to score mark. And if you had a broad understanding of the passage, you could answer. None of the question required you to have any unnecessary deep thinking. That is how CAT is. None of the question requires you to go dive deep into stuff. It is crackable given the given time. So what you can do is reflect on the kind of mistake that you're making and hopefully make these minor changes, and that will have a huge impact. One of the things that I want to also add is that in the group, I had we've taken some feedback in terms of the sorry, I'm going to talk about a test series group in terms of the solution. So we made some changes to the solution based on the feedback, and I hope that you'll find those solutions, written solution, I mean, slightly more better than what we had earlier. The earlier one was also pretty good, but just saying that we would have improved it from there. Okay, so that's about VRC. Any questions I can pick up?
So end of the day, when you look at VRC, it is always a similar story. And as you said, passage 2, people leaving sorry that leaving those difficult questions across passages is something that needs to be done. That's essentially the crux,
Yeah.
I would say. Okay.
I think I've
So,
so it's been I think it's been probably the 13th mock when we are saying the same thing. And if
Yeah.
somebody is not going to heed the advice and then
Mhm.
come back and tell me that sir score is not improving, there's nothing I can do. And I think
Mhm.
the way in which if you don't have any preconceived notion, don't have any strategy at all, you're looking at
Mhm.
each question, read the passage at pace of your
Mhm.
comprehension. If you get stuck in a particular question, move on to the next one. If you've
Mhm.
kept these things simple throughout, I think that has been the advice that at least all of us were giving you. And there are
Yeah.
still people who will not heed the advice and then revert and say, "Sir, kuch nahi ho raha hai. तो क्या करूं?"
My only issue with most of the people is they're hung up on strategy. To me, there's only one simple strategy: read, answer, don't know, leave. Now,
Correct.
beyond that, for all practical purposes, there shouldn't be any strategy because you don't know what's going to be there in the paper. You cannot read the questions and then decide which passage to attempt. You have to read the passage to decide whether to be able to answer the questions. So everything else which people do is something which has to be, let's say, ignored or left. Okay, so ठीक है. Uh, Good thing is I can see quite a few. And this is what I would want to say. Okay, this is the simple thing. There cannot be any other strategy. Read the passage, read the question, understood, mark the answer, and don't understand, leave the question. This is what needs to be done. Is all I would say.
So you can also in the arts you can never be sure of the answer, right? But
No,
at least at least but you can still be very sure that I'm doing some stupid thing.
yeah,
Okay,
Jijo,
I
I'll
mean,
go a step forward and say in English, if you are getting 80% accuracy, you are doing a terrific job. A
fantastic
70%
answer.
is fine with me. Okay, so to me, a 70 to 80% is perfectly fine. The issue which comes out is there's drones who want 100% accuracy. So
Yeah.
so in trying to get that 100% accuracy, all kind of stupid things are done, and the paper gets messed up. That's all. Mhm. So going with intuition is fine. Whatever it is, to me, the critical thing is read the passage, go with your intuition or whatever, mark an answer, leave the question, whatever you want
So
to do, just keep moving.
So what is after all intuition? Intuition is your mind is already processing information, reading the passage, right? The mind is so whatever is that, your brain or whatever. I can't say mind. Your brain is giving it back the information back to you. You're not able to
Yeah.
explain why answer choice C is correct, but you know it is correct. You don't
No,
have
no,
to
as
explain
long
to
as you
yourself.
feel it is the correct one, mark it and move
Huh.
on.
So when, for example, when I'm explaining solutions and we are talk about, let's say, beast or whatever is the strategy in the examination, that's not how it works. So when I'm explaining an answer choice question to you, when explaining a solution, then I'm telling you this is a problem in this particular answer choice, right? But in the examination, you cannot. It's not a sort of a. Well, you're reading it intuitively, know that okay, there is an issue with this particular word. I cannot explain what the issue is, but I know there is an issue. I mark it or eliminate it, whichever, whatever, depending on whatever questions say. So you have to at the end of the trust your intuition. Sometimes what happens, GP, is that you read the passage, your intuition is saying, "See, nay, I want to do deep analysis," and then it's unnecessary waste of time. So if you keep your life simple and be like the Dhoni, it's okay. So I have changed my
Huh.
pattern to just solving questions without any pre-thought, but because this is my general accuracy is going down, what can I do? Now you have to go back and check. So your general
And
accuracy can go down for many reasons, right?
and
So
Gijo, one more, Gijo, before you answer,
mm,
my issue would be I'm not bothered about accuracy. Is your score going up or going down? It is a score which matters. It is okay to do 24 questions and 70% accuracy as compared to 10 questions with 100% accuracy. So to me, it is the score which matters. Accuracy, ठीक है, ऊपर नीचे होता रहेगा. And how to work on accuracy is what Jijo was saying. So I'll pass it back to Jijo.
so you eventually what is you made a mistake. That's what it is, right? Why would you make a mistake? There are four answer choices. Now, in for example, if you're watching the solutions, I have made the point to take the data out in terms of what percentage of students have marked each of the answer choices. Now there are two kinds of issues. One is when there are stupid answers and you end up marking it. There is no, it's a crime. So then you know that you just randomly did something. Okay. But if it's like there are certain questions which where you made a sort of the answer had very appealing answer, but it has got a problem, and sometimes you'll fall, right? So it usually happens when you your comprehension of the passage has got some sort of issue. Uh, so yeah. So this usually the intuition work. Most times I spend more time on the RC question. I get it wrong. Yeah, intuition actually. What is intuition? Intuition is you are understanding. You read the passage. No, intuition. I think intuition is it's a part of the process. I mean, when you say intuition, I think what everybody is saying is this: I cannot explain to myself why C is correct, but I have a strong feeling C is correct. So this lack of the fact that I cannot explain to myself, that's the only problem. Then we call it intuition. But you don't have to explain to yourself. So most of the time when you go for the first one, when you start rethinking, though, it is over. So I think you'll make a mistake.
हाँ, डन, एकदम सही है. तो सोचना पड़ गया तो प्रॉब्लम है, is what I would say.
I think most questions where you rethink, probably I think 75% of them you will get it wrong, I guess.
50%.
Hmm.
It is better to just do gamble. You will save less time because you get confused between two answer choices, right? You're spending 2 minutes per 4 questions, that is 8 minutes. To get 50% accuracy, do inky pinky ponky. I will pick odd number instead of even number. If there are 2 odd numbers or 2 even numbers, I'll pick the largest number. So do some random thing and mark one, and you will still get 50% accuracy with no extra time. I'm not asking you to do gambling, but I'm just saying that unnecessarily spending time on question is problematic.
What do you think is the chances of odd sentence reappearing? Unlikely,
I have
right?
no idea. So from whenever CAT has made a change, so if you look at 2017 to 2018, 2016-17, paragraph jumble had 5 sentences. 2018 they made a change to 4 sentences. So they made a 4th sentence for some logic because 5 sentences was useless. Everybody's
Correct.
strategy was, you remember, chodi do usko. There was no point
Correct.
only doing it. So that all the question was useless, they changed it, right? So they had this version where they had 5 passages. Remember 2017, 2016, the 3 passages had 6 questions, 2 passages, 3 questions. That changed to equal number of passages. So anytime the CAT has made a change, I'm basically assuming that there is some thought process towards it and not a random change. If I believe in that, if my assumption is right, then it's very unlikely that I see odd sentence.
That's
So if it
and we
if
have
the
not
objective,
seen them. I think historically we have never seen them retrace back their path in 2 successive years, right?
if let's say CAT objective is to randomly give some surprise, it doesn't make any sense because there are 3 slots. किसको देगा surprise? Okay, so CAT wants
नहीं
to
देगा
keep
तो
it.
सबको देगा तो सबको
मतलब किसको देगा मतलब only slot 1 will get the surprise. No, slot 1, slot 3 will come tomorrow anyway. Okay.
Oh, that is true with the paper itself. No?
So there is no point having any surprise element. If everybody is taking the test together on one day, then there is a merit to some surprise. So my therefore take is it is very very unlikely that odd sentence should come based on the assumption that I sort of had. So but you never know. So I'm using this you never know because tomorrow people should not come and give gali to me, sir ne bola. But yeah.
जीपी डीआई में लोगों की लग गई.
Actually, I'm not surprised. मुझे लगा था इस बार unlike last time. See, इसमें जो है ना, I would be keen to see what percentage attempted the first set of data, because at least 3 out of the 5, see, about 35% have attempted set 1. Okay, and what I like is that first 3 questions people have done, third they have left, fourth. But if you have done fourth, you should have been able to do third also, is what the way I would look at it. But without any doubts, question 4th was the 28th was a difficult one. Okay, and third set कौन सा था यार? Which was the third set?
Third set was auditions.
The percentage.
Audition.
यार वो तो मेरे हिसाब से easy था.
हाँ मुझे भी लगा कि वो आसान है.
And I think people have not been able to place. The second table gave it very clearly as to what that data was. That 20% of the population was panel F. I think people possibly did not pick that up.
What is set theory set?
No, it was not a set theory. It was percentages.
It's a simple calculation. Percentages.
Yeah. Okay. So I have put up the DILR overview and the quant overview. उसमें देख लेना, and I would suggest students कि just go through that overview and then start doing this set. You will find it is not difficult. Also, Shivku, इस पेपर में ना 2-3 सेट्स ऐसे, I think there were 2 or 3 questions which were very helpful. Set number 2, 30 to 34, there were 2 questions which were helpful. If I remember correctly, the second and the fifth question were helpful in that set. Okay.
Second question
Shivku,
was
there was
about
paper hai kya?
second question was which of the following could be the correct sequence of shipments sold during the months of March, April?
Yes,
That question. And
absolutely.
then option 1 is saying 1, 1, 2, 4. Option 2 is 2, 3, 2, 4. Option 3 is
Yes.
1, 3, 2, 4.
Question 31. If you have got question 31 right,
So,
you have
can I
probably
get
solved half the set.
can I venture a guess? Is answer choice 2?
I don't remember, but Jijo, logic तो बहुत simple है. उसमें the one which is the most obvious, the which has the highest
common.
frequency is likely to be the answer.
Which is answer choice number 2. What question number was it?
Question 31.
There, answer choice 2. There. 3 mein mila, 3 marks.
Let me see if I can share the paper. Let me just try and do that. Let me see present. Share screen. चलो.
मैं stop कर
Entire
दूं क्या?
screen share कर. नहीं दोनों का हो जाएगा मेरे ख्याल से. भाई मेरा आ रहा है क्या? हाँ आ गया. Can you see my paper?
Yes. Of course, I think you have to increase the sort of size.
I'll just yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 31.
Yeah. In this set, if you look at this particular set, look at question 31. Okay. Now this set, the first thing I noticed was 2, 2, 2, 2. Unfortunately, that data, this is from the data set directly. But when you look at the others, I have one, look at the fourth one. 4, 4, 4, 3. Most probably it will be 4. Similarly, if you look at the second one, 1, 3, 3, 3. 3 and 4 should be there. Second should be 3, fourth should be 4. So one of these two. Okay. But this one was, but in any case, even if you don't do this, I don't have an issue. But you should be able to use this data, this question to fill up your table. Similarly, if you look at the last question, as you are solving the data, you could keep on eliminating the choices out here. Which one of them is definitely true? That means 3 of them will be incorrect. So keep eliminating and then you'll. So these 2 questions I felt was something which could have helped you in solving the data set. Okay. I don't know if they used it or not. This was the case. The third set, which I felt was not difficult. The second table is what I want students to look at. The second one. Okay. Now, initial calculation does not have F. 10, 20, 10, 20, 40. This one. Initial calculation वाला डब्बा जो है, the total is 100. Corrected calculation A, B, C, D is 80. That means F has to be, the panel F has to be 20%.
GP वो हो गया तो प्रॉब्लम हो गया.
हाँ मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना, ये टेबल में क्लियरली तो दिख रहा है. A, B corrected calculation में A, B, C, D, E are adding up to 80%. So that means F has to be the balance 20%. This is if students have not picked this up, then I think it is an issue. Unless they got stuck with table 1 की table 1 से ही मुझे निकालना है सब कुछ. ठीक है. And I'm not saying you would do all 5 questions, but by after that you should be able to do 3 out of 5 if not more. Okay. The last data set, इसमें भी कुछ था interesting. इसमें बहुत interesting चीज है. Something I want again students to notice. Okay. Look at question number 43. For which of the following causes the donation collected can be equal to the donation collected for environmental causes for all 5 students put together? This effectively means environmental cause, we don't know the value and there will be multiple values possible. For environment, at least one of them more. Look at the choices. Now what this is effectively telling me is you will not be able to fill the table completely and there will be multiple cases. Look at question 44. It says what was the total amount. It is not what can be the total amount. If it says what was the total amount, all the possible cases have to be a part of my answer. The only answer possible is choice 4. Right? Only possible answer is because question 43 is telling me there are multiple cases. That means in my answer for question 44, there has to be choice 4, which has got multiple cases. Again, this could have helped you move a little ahead and solve. Because what this means is the total is going to be 30,500 or 30,750. I'm not saying this will be directly able to solve, but at least it will get you moving a little bit. Now, issue again is, did you notice this stuff or not? Okay, and in this particular set, what was critical to me was this: if this is 1,000, that means these two have to be less than 1,000, because those of you have done this set, I'll just, the blue colored cells represent the top three amount of donations collected by any friend for each cause. Okay. Now this tells you this education Abhay and Darpan education, both have, these have to be 500 or 750. Same thing when you look at Akansh column, environment and animal welfare, one of them will be 500, another will be 750. So this was a starting point. Again, the issue most of the times is, are you able to pick up the starting point or not? If you have been able to pick up that starting point, it should not be difficult. But I would want you to please look at those 2-3 questions I've pointed out, which could have helped you finish set number 2 and got you a little ahead in set number 4. Yeah.
So I think what my sense, I've not seen the paper, but from my sense is, if there is something straightforward, but dimag mein lagana hai, mechanically can solve, people solve it. If it's some bit of sort of thinking required to get something out, I think that is where this challenge happening. And I think that when both of you are saying that this set was easy, it still required a little bit of that true interpretation, no? True logical, cracking something. I think
I just missed set number 1. Jijo, I'll just share set number 1 since you have not seen the paper. Okay. I'll just share set number 1 also. Because this is a set, those who did not attempt, I think if they start solving it now, they'll realize it was a fairly easy set. Now, this is a kind of an unfamiliar thing. I don't think hardly any student would have actually seen the set like this. It's a puzzle. If it's a puzzle, it is obviously coming for the first time, and hence there's a data set which you need to give it sufficient time and then do it. Most of the time, these kind of questions will be easy. Now, this one was straightforward. Should not have been a problem. But look at question 26 and question 27. Both of them have the same data. Now, the challenge here is copying this data on a sheet of paper, but once you copy, you can get 2 questions correct. So out here, question 26 and 27 are 2 questions that failed, should have been attempted. Question 28, my problem was, consider the nonogram puzzle with 10 rows, 10 columns. Values mn indicate missing values. How many distinct combinations are possible? This is where you will have to make cases. And this is where mistakes can happen. So this is a question which you could leave, but you could still do question 29 by doing whatever one case you have. Again, look at statement 1 and statement 2. J10 is a white colored square, green colored square. Both are possible or not. Okay, that's a call you need to take. And then move on. Okay. But you're absolutely right. This was a data set which required some amount of thinking.
So whenever it forces thought and tension, I think that I think that people want to force stuff onto them. So they're not engaging, keeping it cool. Let the revelation happen automatically on its own, and the kind of lack of confidence that sort of sweep somehow make them like chalo theek hai, sort of that. I think was a challenge for this particular mock. I think that's why students score as low.
Yeah. ठीक है, but frankly, जब मैंने दिया ऐसे इस पेपर में ना, मुझे पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम जो आई थी, frankly, every set looks doable, and that's a challenging paper to have. If in a paper I find a paper one set which is very difficult, it makes my life easy. I don't have to worry about it. But in this paper, almost all 4 sets were doable, and it was a challenge to pick up the right set. And when I was attempting the paper, I started with the third set, that percentage wala 20% jo log miss kar gaye the, that is what I started off with. Okay. So I did that, and then went to set number 1, and then I did set number 2 and 4. But to me, it was the challenge here was every set had one odd question which was worth leaving, and every set had a couple of questions which were easy and should have been attempted. Okay.
Math.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just told them.
Hmm.
Math, I think from the messages, people are very unhappy. They felt that it was
Unhappy.
very tough. Tough. But when I look at the
No,
score
Gijo,
distribution,
Gijo, it had those questions which were meant to be left.
okay.
It had large number of questions. When I say large number, maybe about 6, 7 questions, which you should leave straight away without even thinking. Okay, so इसलिए
But when
उसमें कोई
I,
प्रॉब्लम नहीं आती फिर उसमें.
तो
Okay.
लेकिन if I look at the score distribution, उसमें तो मतलब कुछ और स्टोरी बोल रहे हैं.
स्कोर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ये बताएगा. आई एम वेटिंग
Very
फॉर
very
शिवू
close to
टू
the
स्कोर.
cat. It's kind of very close to. ठीक है. It's like the pain of cat.
हाँ, ठीक है. So score, what the score distribution is likely to be telling us that people did not leave the difficult questions.
No, people left. I think people left a lot of questions. That's
You left a question after spending time, or just by looking at the question is the key thing. Na? If you spend 3 minutes and then left that question, it is as good as an attempt. Shivu,
got to.
any challenge?
Actually, you can see the scores, no?
No, I can't.
No, I can't.
Now
अभी
now
देख,
it's coming.
मैंने डाला है अभी.
हाँ ठीक है, ठीक है,
हाँ,
अभी ठीक
अब
है.
आ गया ना. हाँ, ठीक है.
वो एक्चुअली फ्रीज हो गया था. हाँ.
Okay.
So I think quant has not been as bad. I thought quant will be, people will come back and say it's tough, right? So quant has not
90.
been.
No, it's fine.
It's
शिवको, मेरे ख्याल
absolutely.
से people have done well in this paper.
Yes, they've done very well.
They've done very well. So those people who are saying they have found it difficult, they have not left this question. This data is telling me 99 percentile at 38 as compared to 33 last year or 34 the year before last. I think this is fine. People have picked out the right questions to attempt.
They might have found it a
Even at
little
90
tougher than
percentile level, we
last
are up by
paper.
2 questions. Shivku, even at 90 percentile level or even 85 percentile, you are up by 2 questions even at 80 percentile level.
Correct.
Okay, so to me, I think students have done well by leaving the right questions.
So I think they have found a lot of people have found. I mean, the questions they've done well, right?
Chico, to me, what is important is question 46 only 15% attempt, almost 10% attempt. I think that's very positive. Question 48 only 15% attempt, very positive. Not happy with question 50 with that 30% attempt. That is not good. Okay, so question 53 again, look at it, only about how many 20% attempt, which is fine. Question 56 is a challenge that many people tried attempting it. Okay, so to me, when I'm looking at this, what I'm looking at these red marks is what is the percentage attempt and not the accuracy. These questions were not meant to be attempted, and if you had left them, it would have been good for you, because you can see large number of greens: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 greens. You do only these 9 greens, end of the story for you. Actually, 66 भी बहुत आसान था. I'm surprised 66 was a जुगाड़ question. Assume a 10 by 10 square and solve. Those of you who have got it wrong, assume a 10 by
Correct.
10 square and solve it.
So this definitely, I think, belies my expectation, and it's done. They have done better. Good thing to
Yeah.
notice. We see this, the general percentages going. People have been picking up things right through the thing, right through the section. However, um, you know, the reds that they were bound to be. I mean, when we designed the paper, we said we must have about 7 to 8 reds and about 5 to 6 yellows, and the rest of them have to be greens. So that's the design element, and we deliberately tried to keep the length of the. So there's a word count check that we do with respect to the previous cards. We tried to keep it close to it. Now the good thing is, in this question, a lot of questions are not very conventional questions. That's why I'm very surprised with what people have done. So I think to me, it's a very good performance.
So
overall.
overall, I'm happy with the performance. My only
Individually,
issue is question 46 percentage attempt is very low. 47
GP,
percentage attempt is low. I'm very happy with that.
maybe you could share the paper that you have.
Yeah, I'll just share. I'll just share the screen. and we can just go through the questions again. Shivku, can you see the paper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
to increase
Okay,
the
I'll just.
size a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Hmm. Question 45. N people in a group. Simple arithmetic progression question. N by 2 into A plus L. First term is 3. Last term is 371. That means 100 T1 and T185. Common difference is given to you. N by 2 into A plus L is what you need to do. And if you remember your maths, you could have got the last two dates fairly fast. Yeah. Question 46. Read and leave. Read and leave is what my session would be.
I think those who attempted and got it wrong basically attempted because of love for arithmetic.
हाँ और कुछ नहीं यार देख के समझ जाना चाहिए है कि यार समझ नहीं आ रहा है if you are not 100% sure of the way forward you should not be going for the question. Question number 47. I could straight away eliminate choice 1 and 3. Question number 47. See, if look at this, a straight road has wall on both sides of height 16 and 8 meters respectively. Two ladders are placed from the top of one wall to the foot of other. What is the height of the maximum clearance edge below the ladders? If these were not 16 and 8, they were 8 and 8. The answer should have been 4. Right? Since it is 16 and 8, my answer needs to be more than 4. So it straight away eliminates choice 1. Similarly, choice 3, which is 6.8, 4 into 1, 1.73, 6.8, 6 point very high. The answer will be either choice 2 or choice 4. Unfortunately, I could not eliminate beyond this and had to solve it completely. Question 48, शिवको ये बहुत कमीनापंती की तुम लोगों ने. Largest number more than 40 उसका कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता मेरे हिसाब से तो.
Yeah, correct.
So you could have taken K to be 2 or 3 or 4 and still got the same answer.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a standard.
So there are times GP, there are times in CAT, right? ये कमीनापंती होती है ना कि सभी they say that the value of K is greater than 2023. Well, we are taking the test in 2023. So
yes,
you know that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Similarly, out here, when I was solving, I solved using K equal to 4. If K is equal to 4, K plus 1 will be 5. Okay, so the sum will be 15. So the three numbers, when you have the maximum product, will be 4, 5, 6. And the minimum product will be 1, 2, and some number. 15, 1, 2, and 12. Upper limit, lower limit found, answer we get. Okay. Question 49. शिव को एक बार चेक करेगा कितने लोगों ने अटेम्प्ट किया क्वेश्चन 49. What percentage attempt?
49 is around 52, 53%.
And accuracy?
50%.
This was a question which was a 30-second question. After you have read the question, see, the extra is 0.05% of 100 marks for 15 to 6 300 subjects. So 0.05 into 300, answer should be 15. This was a 30. जितना टाइम सवाल पढ़ने में लगता है उतने उससे कम टाइम में सवाल होता है. Okay, I hope the students are clear. The actual average is 75%. Two students want to reevaluate. If the marks don't decrease and the new overall average becomes 75.05, maximum possible score increase for either of the two students. If I want maximum score increase for one of the two students, the other one should become no increase. So 0.05 has to be 0.05% of 100, which is 0.05 marks for 15 to 6 300 subjects. That should be my answer. Okay. Question 50 should have been left. Question 51 should not be attempted. 50, 51 बर्बाद है, टाइम बर्बादी है. ठीक है, हो जाएंगे. आई एम नॉट सेइंग नहीं होगा, बट व्हाई वेस्ट माय टाइम?
ग्राफिकली 51 हो जाता है. ग्राफिकली 51 हो जाता है.
शिव को ये सर्कल का इक्वेशन से कंपेयर करना पड़ेगा ना.
वो तो है.
So half the students would not even know what is the equation of a circle. Okay. So to me, this, which I am saying, these are two questions. Question 52 में question इसमें जो है, you can straight away say the answer will be either 1 or 4. And again, I want students to notice this. Look at this. If choice 3 is correct, that means either 1 is correct or 4 is correct. That means if choice 3 is correct, then either 1 and 3 both have to be correct or 3 and 4 both have to be correct. That means 3 cannot be the answer. Similarly, if you look at this ratio is 4:5, assume 40 rupees and 50 rupees as the cost price and the mark price. That means discount percentage 20% cannot be the answer. So one choice gone, two choice gone. Put a couple of numbers and just check. You will find that there will be it is a case of profit, and that should be the answer. Yeah. Question 53. मेरे हिसाब से तो complete waste of time है. बहुत मेहनत कराएगा ये सवाल. Shivu, any shortcut, any faster way of doing this question? A plus D plus BR, A plus 2D plus BR square, ऐसा करना पड़ेगा ना?
GP I think you will have to do the differences करके ही करना पड़ेगा. 50 minus 47 gives you the common difference plus B into R minus 1. 81 minus 50 gives you 31, gives you the difference between, again the value is D plus BR square minus BR. तो उससे उन दोनों से आएगा कि
So you're adding the arithmetic progression to a geometry progression.
Yeah, each term corresponding.
Why are you killing the students?
Hey, but Jijo,
there are some questions that I have to kill.
नहीं Jijo, to me this is a very good question because शक्ल देख के छोड़ दूंगा मैं. To me the problem was the question like that time speed distance question A 2A 3A वाला जो था 4A, because that students will be tempted to attempt. This is a very good question. I will look at the question, leave it.
Correct.
Okay. Question 54 is a tempting question, but this is a question which you will get it right if you know how to rearrange these. These are typically what I call rearrangement questions. You rearrange in such a way that you get the value.
उसमें फॉर एग्जांपल तुम्हारे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में आएगा x squared minus 2x minus 15, राइट हैंड साइड में आएगा x squared plus n plus m into x plus nm. तो तुम -2 is equal to n plus m डाल दो.
Shivku, that's what I'm saying. You need to rearrange the terms, and if you are able to rearrange, you will get it. If you are not, you will not get it. You will waste a lot of time.
Time तो लगेगा इसमें.
So to me, which is the other thing out here?
इसीलिए मैं am surprised कि इसमें काफी सारे questions है जो जहां पे लगता है कि अच्छा you have to be ready to invest those 3.5 minutes to solve the question, then you will get the answer. There are many questions like this. Now very surprisingly I see that the average marks have gone up. It either means that people were willing to invest or they've cracked the concepts.
ये वाला क्या क्वेश्चन था? I'm trying to recollect.
ये सर्कल में कॉर्ड है.
हाँ शिवपू, इसमें बहुत अच्छा है. 3√7 और 6√7, 4√5 डबल ऑफ 4√5. आंसर ये दोनों तो नहीं हो सकता. शक्ल देख के ही पता चल जाता है आंसर 3 या 4 है. When I say शक्ल देख के, I mean draw the figure. You will straight away say the answer has to be either 3 or 4. 3√7 is कितना आया था? I think 26 into 6, 378. About 8. This is about
बहुत
8.
ही छोटा है.
This is about 16. This is 9, and this is about 18. And once you do your basic figure, you can straight away say my answer has to be greater than the radius. Radius is 14 into 6, about 10.5. So these two choices go away. But after that, थोड़ा सा काम करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? ये तो if you know the installment concept, straightforward question. My suggestion for this question is because it is theta, please use future value method rather than present value method. Present value method, the calculations are usually a little more difficult. Present value method makes more sense when the choices are given. But this was definitely a doable question. Same with question 57. Shivku, unlike this question, when I look at question 54, I would not want to spend time because my issue is I may not be able to rearrange it correctly. Question number 57, no rearrangement. इसमें भी 3 minutes लगेंगे. But I know I'll definitely get it right. So question 57, I'll definitely attempt. 58, I will not attempt. I know how it is to be done. But I think if I remember correctly, there are 13 times I have to check D equal to 1 to D equal to 13. ठीक है, सो नहीं करना चाहूंगा मैं।
जीपी
59
उसमें तुम फिर
इसमें
जीपी
एक बेसिक
तुम्हारा
सीक्वेंस
लॉजिक
आया
से
था ना।
13 से डिविजिबिलिटी क्यों नहीं चेक किया?
13 से डिविजिबिलिटी क्यों नहीं चेक किया? मैंने नहीं किया।
तुमने बोला 13 सीक्वेंसेस है, 13 से डिविजिबिलिटी चेक कर सकते
हाँ,
थे,
बट
वो
हर एक में मल्टीपल केसेस होंगे ना।
नहीं, बट
फॉर
13 ही
एग्जाम्पल
केसेस.
व्हेन आई लुक एट,
No, you will
फॉर
get a
एग्जाम्पल
sequence. You will get an
डी इक्वल
arithmetic
टू 1 पे
sequence which has got
37
13
केसेस
columns.
आते हैं।
हाँ,
शिवको, डी
correct,
इक्वल टू 1 पे देयर 37 केसेस, डी इक्वल टू
correct,
2
JP.
सिमिलरली देयर सो possibly some pattern might emerge.
No, no,
I
you will
did
get
not check.
arithmetic progression. You will get arithmetic progression with
You
13 terms. So your answer has to be divisible by 13.
चलो ठीक है, मैं एक बार करके देखता हूँ। So the students need to notice the जुगाड़ which Shivku has given us, that answer should be a multiple of 13. ठीक है, मैं चेक करता हूँ इसको।
these are
59 was doable. Okay, something I want students to understand this one. What is 3 times the diameter of the circle? Why have we asked? This is a theta question. The answer for theta question is only going to be an integer. So if the question has asked what is 3D, that means the diameter is not an integer, or it is some integer divided by 3. So once you make the equation, don't try to substitute, please solve. This is a kind of question you should solve, because the answer, it is not a straightforward simple cute number. nahi hoga iska answer. 3 times the diameter will be a cute number, diameter will not be a cute number. 60 is a straightforward question. सब्स्टिट्यूट करके चेक कर लो ना, इंटीजर पे तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। व्हेन x इज एन इंटीजर देयर वुड नॉट बी एनी प्रॉब्लम। चेक फॉर डेसिमल, प्लस माइनस एंड गेट द आंसर। 61 इज अ ओल्ड कैट क्वेश्चन। शिव को खाली ट्रेन चला दी पहाड़ से ऊपर नीचे की जगह।
Cat 1997.
97 ना? या I
97
was
या
remembering
98
somewhere around 2000 it had come.
97 या 98 है शायद
हाँ,
90.
sometime around that time only. Okay, so question 62, again a sitter. X square plus x minus 2 whole square should be equal to 514. Put x key value and check. 63 again, 64 again. These are straightforward questions. These had to be attempted. 65, I think most students would have left, but it was not a difficult one. And 66, as I said, was a sitter. So Jijo, there were about 8 to 10 sitters, and that is what one should attempt.
I think the reason why many are saying maybe is a comparison of their score they've been getting in the previous mocks, recent mocks.
This is definitely tougher compared to last month.
So
quant.
at the end of the day, whether exam is tough, mein rona kya hai? I think if it's going to be tough, it's pitch is tough no for both the team, no. So it is. उसमें रोना क्या? You have to adapt to.
Show which question is it? I don't know which question you're talking about. Let us know which question. Okay. So Shubh will tell us the question. We can continue. Shubh is saying answer that question. The diagram on the is this is what Shubh is saying. I don't know which question it is. Diagram is wrong. Line has to be on the opposite side. ठीक है, वो देख लेते हैं. ठीक है. But just share the question number. ठीक है. So Gio, overall, I would say yes, difficult paper, but not as difficult as some students were saying. And the performance of students also is saying very clearly. Okay, so 59 question. Okay, I'll see that. Okay. And performance of most of the students is telling us that no, students have been able to pick out the right questions to attempt. There are still some issues, but I think by and large, it has been picked up correctly.
I think one side that is also what I see with respect to the VRC as well. I think some at least a significant number of students are just slightly more sensible in terms of leaving the question, because that accuracy distribution and the score distribution is usually does not map like that. And I think in the previous mock.
Yeah.
So I am basically attributing to the fact that one of the passes came last, but I'm also thinking that many of you are consciously trying to become a far better test taker than you used to be. Let's say 10 CDC prior to this, and I think that should be a good takeaway for many.
Yeah. So the issue is that some students saying I miss sitters. Now, if you miss sitters, please ask yourself why. Okay. So yeah. Now, if you have missed sitters, you need to ask yourself why did you miss them? What is it that you could have done? Maybe you did not read the questions carefully. Maybe you are rushing. Maybe you just skimming, and maybe you wasted a lot of time in the other difficult question, and hence you never came down to sitters. So this is something you need to solve and work out this problem. Whatever is your issue, that needs to be addressed now. Okay. And this is what I think everyone should remember. 8 to 10 sitters. If you ditch those difficult questions, it was completely on. Okay. 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 I have already put up the QA and DILR overview. Unfortunately, when I was doing my recording, some error happened. I had to do the recording all over again. So I have not been able to record the Jugaad solution. I will do it tomorrow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. Kashish, after solving 9 easy questions, you're left with 8 minutes. That means you could have done maybe 2 more questions which were time consuming. So that's fine. 10 to 11 questions is fine, not an issue.
Aman will get that checked.
Shivku, question 59 is what Shubh was saying. There's some error.
नहीं नहीं कोई
So that
गलती
needs
नहीं
to
है,
be
ठीक
fixed.
है, सब ठीक है, 59 ठीक है.
Tomorrow cat exam, cat admit card कल आ रहा है क्या?
कल आ रहा है.
तो पता चलेगा इस बार मेरठ भेज रहे हैं कि आगरा भेज रहे हैं मुझे.
या सुबह सुबह जगा रहा है कि वेट करा रहा है. So you are the one who is going to get the surprise, or you are the one who is going to feel the pressure?
I love the afternoon slot यार. सुबह सुबह उठना नहीं पड़ता, भागना नहीं पड़ता, and I don't have lunch, so it's not a problem for me.
Afternoon slot is the worst for me. It is a vague time. So early morning is perfect. I anyway wake up very early, so early morning is perfect. Afternoon is like a
So Jijo, hopefully you'll get morning slot. I'll get afternoon slot.
yeah.
No, even the evening slot, late evening slot is also, you feel tired.
नहीं लेट इवनिंग तक यार वेट कर करके थक जाता हूँ मैं.
वही है ना. I think
I think the
pressure
late
builds
evening
up for a
slot,
lot of people.
late evening slot is like they are waiting for the first slot people to come out, and some barrage of misinformation happens, and then the second slot come out and barrage of misinformation happens.
And
I think
then
that
the
on the day of
strategy
the
happens.
test, so on the day of on that day, what everybody should remember is the previous morning paper has got no connection to your paper. Your
Yes.
paper is the only paper that matters. What happened in morning, afternoon, evening has got no connection. Eventually, वो क्या बोलते हैं, scaling will happen. So just because DLR is easy, difficult, ऐसा कोई सुनने का नहीं. Go and just take the test that you see on the screen. That's what you should do.
Yeah, and after tomorrow's suggestion to all students would be whatever slot has been allotted to you, please make sure all the papers that you take will be in the same time slot. Okay. Chalo फिर. Anything else, Shivku, Jijo? That needs to be added. So we'll close and let's see what slots we get tomorrow. Good night, all the best.